Bitcoin can do not just a 10 or 100x, it can go much, much higher. We will see $1 million Bitcoin, absolutely. That is inevitable. Like, we've had hundreds of exchanges that either like failed or were hacked. Over $4 billion worth of Bitcoin, and they had zero. There is a storm coming. There's a storm brewing. You are the only person that has to take care of your Bitcoin. This is the first thing I can truly own that nobody can take from me. Everything else can be confiscated. The last shirt that you wear doesn't have a pocket. It also doesn't have a hardware wallet.
Welcome back to Your Bitcoin Story podcast with your host Gigi, and today's guest is someone who truly lives and breathes Bitcoin. Chris, a co-founder and CEO of Seedor.io, the next level steel wallet for protecting your seed phrase. He's also the builder of SatsKeeper and Bitsurance, tools designed to help you custody and insure your sats with no counterparty risk. But that's not all. Chris is also a true Bitcoin meme connoisseur, lighting up the timeline with sharp, hilarious, and thought-provoking content that keeps Bitcoin culture alive and kicking. From serious infrastructure to spicy memes, he's helping push self-sovereignty forward with both innovation and humor. Chris, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
It's an absolute pleasure, and I'm happy to hear you because this was a third time lucky with some technical issues going on. But in the end, we made it through, and thanks a lot for taking the time to jump on the call today. I've been meaning to have you on the podcast for a while now. And yeah, I know you have a lot of things going on under operation, so I'm really grateful for you coming on.
Always. I mean, we are a far distance apart, are we not? Like
We are. But yeah, it's geographically not that far, but on the travel scale, it's pretty far.
Yeah, you just mentioned like I'm heading to Helsinki next week, and for you to go to Helsinki, you can see it probably, but you have to go.
Yeah, if I get onto the topest building, probably I could see some tips of Helsinki, but I can't go there because I'd have to fly around half of the world to get there, which is crazy, right?
It's a crazy world, and one of the reasons why we have Bitcoin is to be like freer and to not subscribe to those weird rules, right?
True, and be sovereign and get to choose where you want to live. Some people probably still question why Gigi lives in this crazy country, but then Gigi has his own priorities. I have 2 young daughters to raise. I've got my own pros and cons. I luckily know the language, so I'm a full anon here. Nobody knows I'm a foreigner. So to me, it's as a Bitcoiner, I love the saying, go live where you feel and are treated best. And to me, at the moment, I'm treated very well here. Living standards are very cheap while Europe is dying in inflation. And that was one of the reasons why I left Europe, at least for now. But you never know what's going to happen tomorrow. There's some spicy tweets talking about spicy tweets going on the political level that you never know when Gigi packs up the bag and probably goes somewhere else. I don't know, Southeast Asia.
And for that, Bitcoin is the ideal asset to bring with you to set up shop somewhere else. I have not been in that situation, but I'm like planning on this. Like, it's good to have it now and to later in the future.
For sure, be a proper prepper. Just in case things go sour, you have a backup strategy of what to do. So Chris, I've got a few things I wanted to jump into a few different, mainly self-custody rabbit holes on this episode. But before we go down those, maybe like with all guests, can you give us like a quick overview, take us back on memory lane? When did Chris come across Bitcoin? What's your Bitcoin origin story?
So yeah, Chris came upon Bitcoin really, really early on. I did not understand it, as probably like nobody did. Like a handful of people understood it back then. But I was a like engineering student, and I had a friend who stumbled upon Bitcoin. And I think I've told the story before, but it's a funny story. Like we met one evening. I went to his place, and he was like a little bit messy. Like, he was not the cleanest. He had like the kitchen sink full of dirty dishes, and his balcony was full with like bottle deposit. And he told me before we head out, like, I've discovered 2 great things today. One of them is if you take a Frisbee and you flip it around and you line it with tinfoil paper, and you can eat from that. as if it were a plate, and then you can just take the tinfoil, throw it away. You don't have to do dishes again. It's like, great, amazing. Let's go. Let's leave this dirty place now. No. The second thing I discovered today was something called Bitcoin. Have you heard about Bitcoin? It's like, no, no idea. And he described it to me, and he showed it to me, and he was mining Bitcoin, and I didn't get it. Like he later gave me Bitcoin, like printed out, like private keys on a paper.
The original paper Bitcoin.
I like thought, why would I ever need this? Like back then you had like Skrilla and like PayPal, and I was not into any illicit drugs or anything. But yeah, when I realized, oh wow, this is now starting to get steam, like it's like denominated in euro, you can trade it. There are exchanges that like people send this made up free thing that we got for free, and you get real money for that. Like I saw like the dollar bills in my eyes, and I immediately sold all of those Bitcoin. I have a very large purchase. I bought a graphics card. Let me see. I have my old.
You still have it
here. I still have the graphics card.
You should frame it as the most expensive graphics card you will ever buy in your life.
I think so. Yeah. I like, this is my old phone. I had like my Bitcoin origin story like laser engraved on there, and
wow.
Like there, like I looked it up because I still have like the wallet where that transaction took place. Sometimes I wake up. I remember for like a 700 euro graphics card, I forked over a little over 1,400 Bitcoin, which was like, I was a broke student. That was like, it felt like stealing. That was like, really, okay, I give you the Bitcoin, you go and buy that graphics card for me, and we part places. And I have the graphics card. It's still running. I called up the technical museum in Speyer in Germany, like in 2017. I called them up and I told them, hey, do you want to exhibit the most expensive graphics card in the world? And since then, like, the price has increased slightly more. So it's just, a reminder. Bitcoin can do not just a 10 or 100x, it can go much, much higher. I never expected to see the levels that we are at right now. Like, I mean,
and
nobody
it's not
knew.
stopping anytime, right? Like, it's not like we get to the peak and that's it. Party's over, guys. Like,
It
it's
is
forever.
impossible for it to stop, because, like, as a society led by the people we are being led, they have no idea besides printing money, like how to do anything. Like, we look at the monetary expansion in dollars, in renminbi, yuan, in euro. Like, we were making more of it, and like Bitcoin is the one thing we can't make more of. No matter the demand, like the supply is fixed.
That's true.
So it will become worth more.
If you're enjoying the show, it would mean a lot to me if you'd hit subscribe and leave a quick rating or review. It helps more people find these conversations and support the mission. And if you need help getting your Bitcoin off exchanges and into self-custody, or if you're ready to build a robust, bespoke inheritance plan, the Become Unruggable one-on-one consulting program, where you will work exclusively with me, is exactly what you're looking for. You can find all the ways to reach out to me in the show notes down below.
The question you have to ask yourself: how many pieces of meat can I buy with Bitcoin, or can I pay my rent or my goods and services with Bitcoin? We will see $1 million Bitcoin, absolutely. But those $1 million like won't be $1 million when I grew up. Like, back then, I thought like, oh wow, being a millionaire is like something like truly out of my, like, it's impossible. Nowadays, like $1 million, I'm not saying you're poor, but like, it's not what it's like
you're
used
getting
to
by.
be. Like,
You're just starting to make it in life when you cross $1 million fiat margin.
Like, if you have $1 million, you have a lot of work and trouble with the IRS. Like, then
That's
you
true.
people, like, you're the attention is on you then. Like,
it is.
Yeah, Bitcoin, I think, I had really early exposure to it. I dismissed it as something, to get rich quick. I didn't devote that much time to it. Like, I was still in the space. I was still like on Reddit back then, like, oh, there is a next best thing because Bitcoin is slow and there is so many issues with it. Like, let's go with Ethereum. let's go with Nano, let's go with Raiblocks, like all these utility coins that people came up with. Oh, this is better because clearly we can do more transactions with that. And like I was like convinced back then, like by who was it, Mike Hearn, hey, maybe a block increase makes sense because we need as many people in the world to use it, and like Bitcoin has this limitation, and the Lightning Network was like still like just a thought experiment. And yeah, I like got back into Bitcoin, I think really like in 2016, 2017, when I was like, okay, now I was making some money and I was looking into how do I preserve it? How do I like not lose that money? I was looking into like stocks and real estate and all of those things. And this takes so much time, so much, work to invest in these kind of vehicles that Bitcoin seemed too good of a deal to be true. Like, oh, you just invest in Bitcoin and you hodl and you don't leave your keys on an exchange. I've did that. Like I've been there. I learned that lesson. But yeah, fast forward to today, it is as good a deal as it's made out to be. And yeah, I am, again, I'm a mechanical engineer. I'm not a software engineer. I'm not a computer scientist. I'm too dumb to write a line of code. I can vibe code these days. Like I can use an AI, but I thought like, what can I do to give back to this project that I think is one of the most important projects in our like human history? What can I do to help? And then when like the idea of Seedor, like the steel wallet, came up, because I had my own steel backups. I have a CNC lathe. I was designing these tools for myself. My business partner, Ihan, like he had the idea of, maybe make a few more of these.
Was there no steel? Sorry for interrupting. Was there no like competitors out there? Because nowadays there's like a huge Liana companies that offer these metal seed backups. Back then, essentially there was nothing, so you were kind of creating it just for yourself to secure your seed, or
no? There were already backups. So like the OG steel wallet is by my friend Wojtek, Crypto Steel. Like he came up with that in 2013. It was like the cassette type of backup.
Wow.
I was not a big fan of like having these individual like letters that if they slide out,
they can move.
Later on, like I mean, when I launched the company, like I was just building it myself, because I, as an engineer, always look at things as if they were broken, and I like try to make them right, fix them. Not good advice for relationships, but great advice for like looking at something from like first principles. And I was looking at all these different things, and I thought like everything has like some shortcoming. How will I combine all of them? And I did it for myself. Design this backup. I think it's the best. the opinions might be different. It looks like this. It's just a steel tube, and you have individual discs on there that you emboss yourself with a full-length seed word. We give you more discs. You store not just your bare bones seed words, or not just the first 4 letters. Like everything is in there, from derivation paths to like what wallet, what date. We have a lowercase and symbol letter punch that you can also like store not just the passphrase, but like your password manager. These are the most primitive tools to store the most important information. And I want to have a backup that is not just fire and water secure, but idiot proof. Like I always think, what is my like potentially dumbest heir, and would he be able to recover everything just with the information that is stored like offline? Like the worst scenario is somebody having like a backup that works for you, works for somebody in the industry or in the space that is like savvy, but like it's not for like your next of kin that might not have that knowledge. And then he takes a picture and goes on Reddit, and like the funds are swept. So I designed that when I did like the incorporation, like it's a real business. I looked up, are there patents out there? And like people try to patent stuff. Like I don't believe in intellectual property. Like that is like, I don't know, holds us back as a society. But I looked up, and there's like 74 different competitors making a steel backup. Some of them don't exist anymore. Some exist. But yeah, I carved out my niche. We are now the biggest brand in the German-speaking markets, like in Austria, Switzerland, Germany, by far. In Europe, we are like also quite successful. And yeah, we sell worldwide. I never imagined when I started it to be a
global brand,
source of income.
Oh,
but
okay, yeah,
it is
making
now.
a living from it.
I can make a living of it. Like, it's not a big living, but it's like, it is a Bitcoin job. Like, a lot of people in the space like want a Bitcoin job. Like, the best thing to do is like create it for yourself. And yeah, we have great partners like Ben Parent, BTC Sessions, like with people like this, like Block Trainer in Germany. Like, you can really reach a lot of people, and like that is the red line going through all of my business endeavors. Like, trying to get as many people to self-custody their coin. And yeah, we've lost 4 million Bitcoin to like people losing them because they were
maybe
worth
even
nothing
more
back then.
It's
like,
a ballpark figure, right? Maybe even
yeah,
more.
it's a ballpark figure. Like, we don't know how many, but like the estimates are like between, I mean, at least Satoshi's coins, like 900,000, plus like a lot of people like not knowing what it was, or like back then, like, we didn't have deterministic wallets, and people like, there's this one address, what's he? I think it's a Stone Man. I think it's the Stone Man. Like, he's a guy, he received I think 5,000 Bitcoin or so, and he did not wait for the transaction to settle, and he closed off his computer. And back then you would have to like constantly do like a backup for like the change outputs to be like registered, and he doesn't have the private key. Like, you see the transaction, like all of those things back then were like a little harder. Like, you had just a bunch of keys, you didn't have seed words, and you always had to like a proper backup of your wallet, otherwise you would, lose your coin. Now it's much easier. Like, every year it becomes easier. Like, these hardware wallets are better. The ways to like distribute risk, like, we do not just have single signature wallets, we have multisig wallets, we have multisig wallets with time locks, like with redundancies. All of those things are new, but they make it easier, and I try to like educate people on that, and I try to provide the tools with that.
For sure. I mean, self-custody should be your number one thing. As soon as you start stacking sats and learning more about Bitcoin, like the self-custody should be the first thing that comes through. Yet there's still so many people, and I would argue most people still custody their sats on third parties, may that be exchanges or just custodial wallets or whatnot.
Yeah.
What do you think the reason is for that, Chris? Like, we've had so many rug pulls from huge exchanges go down, starting all the way back from the OG MTGOX going down, the Quadricas, the FTXs of the world. Who knows, sometimes in the future, another huge exchange, may that be Binance, Coinbase,
that is inevitable. That is inevitable. Like, we've had hundreds of exchanges that either like failed or were rugged or were hacked. And like, you have these ginormous honeypots, not just for KYC data, but like also for Bitcoin and other tokens that are like much easier stolen. But like, there are companies like Coinbase, and they have this air of, we are like a proper company, and we have the blessing of the state, and with us, your funds are whatever more safe.
So was FTX, right?
Like, yeah, we had the same thing with FTX, and then like, oh, by the way, we didn't have how many Bitcoin did they proclaim to have? Like over $4 billion worth of Bitcoin, and they had zero. And after everything was done and dusted, like, people got a payout in 2025 for like the price of like $16,000 a Bitcoin, which is like, that is a lesson right there. Like, you have some insurance, but like not proper insurance. And like, why would you risk it? Like, I understand why people leave fine arts or gold like in a vault with a bank. Like, that is physical security that is expensive, and banks are great at like concrete and steel bars, and like they have guards and they have whatever, like cameras. Like, it makes sense to have your gold there. Like, in your house, it's very difficult, but like, the trick to securing Bitcoin is the same whether it's 10,000 euros worth of Bitcoin or 100 million euros worth of Bitcoin. Like, cryptographically, like a multi-sig is the best that you can have. Like, and then you look at Coinbase, they do multi-sigs with like MPC cryptography, something that we do not really fully understand, or it's not really tailored to Bitcoin. Like, there are custodians that have special Bitcoin setups, but like the biggest one, Coinbase, they use cryptography one size fits all to store all of the shit coins. They don't want to have like different setups. You can do everything natively, securely on Bitcoin. Why would you go to like some guy that, like, I mean, it seems easy, and I think why people do it is like they still like being sovereign, being the only person that has the keys to it. Like you can call somebody at Coinbase. You have this feeling that there's like, oh, maybe if I mess up, like somebody will help me, that you don't have with Bitcoin. Like you are the only person that has to take care of your Bitcoin. And that is something like that is new. That is a new asset. It'll take time for people to get used to it. And I always say, like, okay, if you start out with Bitcoin, it's fine to have like something on an exchange. It's okay.
No.
Learn, put your 100 hours of research in it, and then after that, I guarantee you will feel comfortable in taking everything into your own custody. And then that is a feeling that's like I'm chasing it ever since. Like that was a like. Yeah, it's orgasmic. Like when you realize, wow, this is the first thing I can truly own that nobody can take from me. Like
unconfiscatable wealth. Pretty crazy.
Besides knowledge, like what is there that you can transfer into your ownership that nobody can take from you? Nothing. Everything else can be confiscated. Like Bitcoin is impossible to be. It's unconfiscatable, as Tone Vase says.
Yeah. I think he should have IP'd that term because I've used it many times. Unconfiscatable is such a fantastic word. That
IP does not. IP is not good. Like in the Bitcoin space, we are all open source, and I think it's great that he, coined that for all of us to use.
Sure. So I wanna. I fully agree with everything you said. We recently just shot an episode with George Bourdin when he was saying how essentially Bitcoin is the only thing that you can transfer over borders invisibly, no matter if, as you said, it's $1,000 worth of Bitcoin or it's $10 billion worth of Bitcoin. So, and I agree with you. It'll take time for people to realize this responsibility and the fact that they can keep it themselves because we've never had this asset before. As you said, whether it be paintings or gold, you're not going to store it, under your kitchen sink. You're going to have it in a vault somewhere. So the same kind of psychology they apply to Bitcoin, thinking, oh, this is very valuable. I'll custody it with Coinbase or some other like safe institution so I don't lose it. But actually, if you custody your Bitcoin anywhere, it's not your Bitcoin. It's an IOU to some Bitcoin, and hopefully you can get it back one day. But going to the getting your Bitcoin back, I wanted to ask your question. You mentioned that multisig is the best setup, and I agree. If you want to go full, like the least amount of single point of failure, multisig is the final boss, so to say, to beat in self custody. But I also have a feeling that kind of multisig is too, how should I put it? Too praised as the must go for everyone. Because there's some people that, with a single sig and just a passphrase is secured in separate spaces, I would argue is more than enough for the average, let's say, pleb that wants to stack his savings in it. If you're going to hundreds of Bitcoin, thousands of Bitcoin, that's a whole different ballgame. Or if you're a corporation, no brainer. But what's your personal take? Is multisig for everyone, or is single sig not getting enough kind of rewards?
I mean, if you are in Bitcoin for quite some time, you will probably have all of those setups. Like it's not either or exclusive. I would say a single sig is fine up to a certain level, and I wouldn't even like say a passphrase is necessary. Like I know from my friends over at Bitbox. Where's my Bitbox? Yeah. No, it looks like this, but it's not a Bitbox. Like this is the first snap device. The number one reason why people lose their coin, according to the support over at Bitbox, is that people do not know how to use passphrases properly, like or the 25th word as it's sometimes referred to, because that is case sensitive. And it's not like a password that if you mistype it, you get prompted, hey, by the way, that is incorrect. Every time you type anything in there, you open a new wallet, and then people in a hurry try to get a receive address and transfer Bitcoin, and the next time they type the passphrase correctly, and they don't see the Bitcoin that was wired there, and then like you have to brute force it if it's possible, depending on the length of the passphrase. So I would say like passphrases are like, people say the poor man's multisig, but a multisig to me would have something like redundancy. Like this is a 2 of 2 multisig. You have to have both parts. And I would say like have your regular single sig, maybe work with like a child key, a BIP85 child key for like a phone wallet as well. Like that is your petty cash. That is what you have in your wallet. And then your life savings. I really encourage people to look at multisig, and specifically multisig setups that are possible with like Bitcoin Keeper or Liana, where you have this time locking component that allows for mistakes. Like you can make a mistake, and all that is separating you and your Bitcoin is the factor time, and the time is enforced by no other company, just the Bitcoin blockchain, like something that is truly magical, like without any counterparty. You just have the ability to make a mistake, or you have, for the first time ever, the ability to properly inherit your Bitcoin without relying on any other person, like to trust them with your passphrase or your wallet setup. Like that is something that what I want to encourage them. That's what we do with SatsKeeper. Like there we help people onboard them to Liana, and also like create custom setups if it's more complex for like companies and or family offices.
So I've been hearing a lot of really good positive stuff about Liana, but I've never actually used it myself. Maybe after this conversation, I'll take a deeper look. But because to me, the time, like the preservation, time locks initially didn't seem like the right idea, because what if you need those funds and there's like a family emergency and you're kind of locked into the amount of blocks that you set. But maybe you could.
Okay,
no?
That is also
or I
possible.
See it wrong.
Like you can lock your Bitcoin so that nobody can spend them up to this certain block height. That is possible. What Liana does is you can have a key that can always spend, like can always spend your Bitcoin. And then
and have an inheritance
key. There is like a backup key or an inheritance key or like a safety net key, and that can only spend if the first key is inactive, if you don't do anything. So if you do something with your first key, if you just do a self-spend of those funds, that time block is then set into the future again. Like it's a relative time block that auto-renews every time you spend. And you can have a very long time lock or a short time lock, depending on how often you do interact with your Bitcoin wallet. Like if you're a business, you may have like a backup time lock of like 1 or 2 months. And every time you do a transaction, that is like rolled over into a new time lock into the future. If you are like just thinking about inheritance, you can have a time lock of up to 15 months. So you just have to do like a single transaction every 1 year and 3 months. And then like the backup key or the recovery key that already is in the possession of your heir, that can't do anything. So if you kick the bucket, that heir only has to wait for like 1 year and 3 months, and then they can recover your funds without having to go through a really difficult setup. It's I think the best wallet on the market right now, Liana.
That is a bit of a moment right there, because like people were just saying good stuff about it, but nobody really like kind of like broke it down in layman terms to me and kind of sold the use case. It was all like, oh, it's a great inheritance one, and you should check it out. And I get told so many things to check out, and there's only a limited amount of time, but this is really good. So essentially the heir key cannot spend those coins until the time period has passed. If basically the dead man switch, if the main key didn't make a transaction in 15 months.
Yeah, you can think of Liana as Sparrow. You can create different wallet setups. You can have a 2 of 3 multisig, and that 2 of 3 multisig behaves like a regular multisig. But then you can have, initially when you set it up, another spending condition that says, if we run into trouble and lose 2 keys, meaning we only have 1 key, after a set amount of time that we define now, that 2 of 3 Bitcoin wallet degrades to a 1 of 3. Or we can say instead of a 1 of 3, it expands into a 2 of 4, another key. Somebody just provided their public key in the beginning. That's what we do at SatsKeeper. Like you have this scenario where you can shoot yourself in the foot, and then you've defined a spending path in the beginning that would recover you. And in the inheritance setup, you can have like just a regular single-sig wallet, but that is similar to a 2 of 2, or like it's a 1 of 2, but the other recovery key only is able to sign any transaction if the first key was inactive. Like there is this time lock that is enforced either by Unix time or by block height, in the Bitcoin blockchain. And yeah, the only there are downsides to Liana. I can get into that. Like we have this thing where we are only able to have this relative time lock of 15 months. So that is the maximum. There are discussions right now on Delving Bitcoin ways to maybe increase that, because like the byte sequence is only 16 bytes. And therefore we can only time lock relative for 65,535 blocks. If you could increase this to 5 or 10 years, that would be amazing. And for that, we just like have 1 byte more. But yeah, so you have to have an understanding that if you do this, you have to regularly, once a year, do like a self-spend. And the other thing is you have to have.
But it's good doing a health check anyways. I tell all the people that I advise like a mentor with a self-custody setup, I tell them like at least like every 12 months, you and the people that know kind of your setup, just do a health check, make sure you know where the recovery is, just do even a test transaction. You don't even have to broadcast it, but just to see, essentially it's even best to broadcast it to make sure everything goes smoothly.
So with Liana, you would have to broadcast it, and that of course, that incurs like an on-chain fee.
Because the transaction needs to go through for it to keep extending the time.
Because you have to think of it like you created a wallet setup, like a multisig wallet setup, and that address that you then spend to has all these initially defined spending conditions. And by the time that transaction is mined, that block height, that time lock starts anew. So you have to have like this transaction that you broadcast. And if you like try to not mix your UTXOs, you have to do this per UTXO. Like if you do like one consolidation, that's just one transaction. But if you have to do it for several, like you have to do several transactions. But Liana supports tap Miniscript, so it looks like a taproot transaction, like a Lightning channel open. It doesn't look like a multisig. It doesn't reveal any like private information like a regular multisig does. And it is cheaper than a multisig transaction. Like multisig transactions are like 2-3 times more expensive than single-sig. With tap Miniscript, like you save actually. And you have to have your own node, which I think is a plus. Like you are forced to when you set up Liana, to connect to a node. You can of course connect to the node of Wizard Zardine. Those are the creators of that wallet. But then of course, every time you connect to a node that is not yours, your wallet setup is known. And maybe people like I suggest like people connect their hardware wallet or like their software wallets always to like a node that they control or somebody that they trust, not like just a random node. And Liana, that's the great thing about it. If you download the software and you don't have a node yet, you can just click a button, say, please install me a node. And it does the entire thing. And it doesn't install like a archival node. It installs a full node, but it's a pruned node. So you only need 35 to 40 gigabytes of space. It will take some time, like 2, 3, 4 days, depending on what machine you set it up. But that is the amazing thing. Like if I onboard people to Bitcoin, like I've had customers, older customers, they learned about Bitcoin through Michael Saylor. They are really interested in it, and they have never done any transaction on Bitcoin. They never had any wallet. The first thing they do are being onboarded to Liana. I onboard them to have their own node. Like they do it the proper way, like how you're supposed to do it. And Liana makes it super easy. So again, like if there's one thing you take away from this conversation, check out Liana Bitcoin. It's a great wallet. It's open source. It's free. If you need help,
fantastic.
You know where to find me.
Yeah, no, for sure. And thanks a lot, Chris, for sharing that. Because lately we've been talking a lot with guests about like inheritance preservation, because that's something that most Bitcoiners just dismiss. They kind of sometimes think they're invincible. They're going to be living around for decades and decades. Yeah. And there's so many like terrible stories that we hear of like very young Bitcoiners dying from different stuff, not just accidents, but like they don't wake up from sleep or heart attack, or you never know when your time comes. And if you've been so hard and disciplined stacking sats for your family, future, or kids or future grandchildren, and then something happens and you just basically donated those sats to the network. Yeah. It's such a shame.
Yeah. I mean, in Germany, we have the saying, the last shirt that you wear doesn't have a pocket. It also doesn't have a hardware wallet. Like you can't take anything into the afterlife. True. Like have a plan now. True. because two things are for certain, like there will no more be than 21 million Bitcoin, and you will die eventually. Like no matter what, what's his name, Brian Johnson tells you, like we are, final on this earth, and you can do it now. Like don't postpone it. Think about it. Don't rush it, but have an inheritance plan. And I mean, unless you want to donate the Bitcoin to the network, then that's okay. But I think like in that case, better donate it to like some open source developer or something. Like,
Project, correct.
Just don't.
Someone that can make use of those sats.
Yeah.
I love it. Personal. So just going back to the Liana, which I find it very fascinating after everything we discussed here. Could you have a setup? So if you set up your multisig setup on Liana, could you have like the same setup on Sparrow, or you're tied down to the Liana?
So currently, because Liana uses Miniscript, you can only recover Liana in wallets that also support Miniscript, and not all of them.
Okay.
But you can do it on Bitcoin Core. Like you can recover a Liana wallet setup on Bitcoin Core. Like it will sooner or later also be implemented in Sparrow, I'm sure, but it's a ton of work, and Greg Raw as a one-man show with Sparrow, like he is busy.
That's true.
It's not on his like forefront to do it right now, but I mean the software is open source. You can have it like stored. Like I nowadays use Liana as a key for BTCPay. You can have a Miniscript descriptor as a wallet source for BTCPay, so that if you're on a company, you can have these great setups where you have shared collaborative custody without any risk.
Nice.
If it's a 2 of 2 multisig, something that you would never do with a regular multisig, because if something goes wrong, you're fucked. With Liana, you can do that. You can go into the space of 2 of 2, 3 of 3, because if you can't come to a quorum, all you have to do is wait, and then a lower quorum can decide. Or you can increase it, you can expand it. Like in a company, a 2 of 2 multisig expands to a 2 of 3. And again, you can, all these spending policies you can verify in Bitcoin Core and recover in Bitcoin Core. And I don't think that wallet is going away anytime soon.
No, I hope not. And, I love open source projects. I think, too many companies are too focused on revenue models, getting the money. And of course, these developers need to eat too. But at the end of the day, like some of arguably my favorite projects that you mentioned, BTCPay server, which I've been representing for all, and I love what the guys are doing from Nicholas to Rockstar to the whole team. I mean, they're true. They're all rock stars. It's not just one rock star. They're all rock stars. And essentially my favorite, signing device, SeedSigner, which arguably, in my opinion, is one of the best signing devices out there. And it's not a company. It's a community-led project that Ceci started close to 5 years ago. And now they're basically, it's funny, like competing with some, I'm not going to name drops of other hardware wallet providers, but you guys know who
they're
we
not
have in mind.
competing. They're just doing
they're just doing.
I
correct.
talked to Zazie, and like he said once, people approach him and say like, clearly you're not trying to make any money of it, because like anybody else with that IP would like make a boat ton of money, and like he's just giving it away. Like he's just, here's a project.
That's
Keith
true.
Mackay is like writing amazing code. Like the UX designer is amazing, and it's a very interesting project. Like my personal favorite open source hardware wallet is this one. I don't know if you're familiar with it.
Yeah, that's what's the
Spectre.
Spectre,
it's
correct.
The Spectre DIY Shield Edition. Like you have these removable secure elements. It is like,
oh wow,
for old people like me, you have like a proper large screen that you can like type on, like an old like display. And it's one of these things. Like you can buy off-the-shelf components and build it, and it works. Like I mean, there are hardware wallets, like you can take a Philips smart light bulb or something, like in a dystopic future, like you can break a smart bulb and take the ESP32 board out of there, and like with Allen bits you can just flash hardware wallets out of it. And that is like, these are tools that are being built by really smart people, and it's important that we have them. Yeah,
couldn't agree more. Actually, so Ceci was the first returning guest on the show. I had him early on, some 2 years ago. And then end of last year, I had him back on, and we were talking. That's already when I transitioned, when I left Europe and moved to Russia. And I told him, Sassy, your hardware wallet, and I guess not just his, but Spectre as well, are the only, like, you can only get DIY hard wallets here in Russia because due to shipping sanctions, FedEx, UPS, nobody, you can't, doesn't matter if you want any of the big boys, you just can't get it shipped here. You need to buy it off resellers. And we all know it's a no-no. You don't buy hardware wallets of, at least not authorized resellers, but there's not authorized resellers on this territory where I'm now. So I was like, literally, I did my research before the call, and for a mere $35 with AliExpress, because AliExpress is really fast here, because Russia and China are like best friends. You can get your parts delivered in like 3-4 days, and it costs you like peanuts, like shipping's like $1. And yeah, basically for like $35, you've got your signing device. You put it all together. It's a nice project, and nobody knows that you ordered a hardware wallet device, and you're not rugged. You flash it yourself. I mean, it was just like, it's crazy. And if there would be a company, that wouldn't be the case, because then you would have to ship it through them from the US, which they would be in the sanctions list. So I was like, even like there's other use cases where you're like, you're really free to everyone in the world. Or like, I don't know what the sanctions are with Iran, but like, I'm pretty sure also it's pretty hard to get things shipped out to Iran, especially from the US. So it's true freedom tools on that spectrum.
Yeah, I mean, again, like support your open source devs, like Spectre, SeedSigner. There's another one in Brazil, Crooks.
Crooks, yeah.
These
I've never touched the Crooks one though. Have you had any experience with Crooks?
Yes,
it's like the latest
one here in my garage. But yeah, it's similar to the Spectre, and it runs on a whole variety of different hardware. Like it's not like you can have different size screens and you can have different like modules.
Okay.
I've seen like the SeedSigner also works now with SAS cards and all this stuff. Like it's amazing what's being built.
And there's a bigger form factor for older people like you who don't need to put the glasses on, to see the screen. So that's also good. Because I'll agree that the SeedSigner screen is pretty small. It's not ideal for.
But again, I forgot the name. Like their UX designer, like he does a tremendous job. Like every time I see something, and Keith is like, let's have similar visualization, like on Sparrow. Like to it's a really like I think of SeedSigner. It's like a really great educational device as well. Like when you show people what's happening and what you can do and achieve with a SeedSigner, it's like really, and the barrier to entry is low, and you can take it to your meetup and just take the SD card out. So like there's nothing, ephemeral. And yeah, I mean, it's amazing what's being built. And I'm again going back to what I do. Like I could never, like I couldn't build these things. Like I don't know about you, but like I'm always impressed when I go to a Bitcoin conference. I feel like the dumbest person in the room, and that is a good place to be, I think.
Well, there's a saying: if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. You should go. You should switch it up. But going back to, and then I have another follow-up thing that just popped into my mind. With your, as you said, current favorite signing device being Spectre, why do you prefer the Spectre over the SeedSigner for you personally? You mentioned there's the security element card at the back that you pull up, and of course the bigger form factor. Is there any other unique selling points from Spectre?
Even though it's like 1 or 2 devs working on it, they were literally the first to support a Bitcoin Miniscript. Miniscript, that subset of Bitcoin script commands that Peter Will designed to have like a secure way to maximize whatever we can do with this. Like using Liana is one of those cases, was like first implemented on an open source hardware device like the Spectre. Afterwards, there was Ledger, then Bitbox, then I think Coldcard to this day has it in their beta. Like they don't put it on live, but the Blockstream Jade does it now too. Like those hardware wallets work with Liana, and I think that's just amazing. Like I mean, it's soon also available for SeedSigner, the support for Liana. I'm pretty sure. Like. But it's a big undertaking. Like I have a lot of friends over at Trezor, and I asked them like, why is Trezor the OG Bitcoin hardware wallet to this day not supporting Miniscript? And they say, oh, like there's not much demand. And I say like, yeah, because you don't have it, so you have to like offer it. Like people are not using it because
you have to create the demand. It's not just going to come on its own,
yeah.
right?
So like they're currently focused on other things, which I think it's from a business perspective probably makes sense. I mean, you yourself have not checked out Liana, so I encourage you like check it out and go and tell the people like we want Miniscript and all of our hardware wallets.
We will though.
And yeah, that's the reason why I use all of them. I don't know what I have here, like I have a cold card. I have these devices. Like I'm one of 2 people in all of Europe to have this.
The Frost devices. Yeah, tell me, I'm yet to speak to anyone who's actually played around with the Frost devices. And to the listeners who don't see the video, what did you just pull up to the camera, Chris?
So we call it
a bunch of dongles plugged a Bitcoin centipede right there.
It's the hardware centipede. So if you know how a Bitbox looks, these devices look very similar. There's like a USB-C male adapter on one end. However, there's a female adapter on the other side, and they have small screens. And you can plug them in together, and you can do something called Frost with them. So these are Frost Snap devices. Frost is an initialism for flexible round optimized Schnorr signature threshold. So it's a signing scheme where you can have a multisig wallet setup that allows for a lot of cool things. For instance, with a regular multisig, if you lose a key share, you are best advised to like move those funds on chain to a new multisig with a new key share. Otherwise, if you lose another one, you might lose your 2 or 3. With a Frost like multisig setup, you can rotate keys in and out without doing an on-chain transaction. Like this is multi-party computing technology. So this is a way to have a really quick multisig setup. Like you can do it on your phone and have different keys that works similar to a Shamir backup. Like you know how you have a 24 words and you can split those 24 words in different shards or different shares, and a defined threshold of those shares can reconstitute this single secret. If you do a transaction with like a Shamir backup, like on chain, it will always look like a single signature transaction. In reality, you have these shares distributed. The downside with that is you have like the secret all in one place. When you re-Shamir something, you have like these different shares, and also in the process of creating it, like you have the secret in one computer. And like if there's like, I don't know, a virus on there, or during the process of re-Shamiring, somebody kicks your door and like they have all the information to spend all your Bitcoin. That is the downside of Shamir. No. The upside is, of course, you don't have a single point of failure. You have like your backup distributed. On the other hand, you have like multisig, where even if you have a computer that has a virus and you do a signature with like your wallet, you can take the PSBT to another computer and double check again. And even if there was a virus on there, like you can have this fail-safe thing, like nobody can actively steal your funds, because at no point you put all the secrets back into one place. You have this distribution. And Frost is basically the combination of these two things, like with limited downside. Like you have a secret that is not stored in one place, but also the distribution aspect of the ability to reconstitute secrets if you lose one. And yeah, some people from Australia and Malaysia developed this. Like this is a beta version. Like this is like 3D printed. The real one is made out of metal. You can pre-order it right now. Frost Snap.
Okay.
And yeah, this is another exciting thing, which I think like we need more of.
For sure.
Yeah.
I love it.
No affiliation, but I'm just a fan.
No, but for sure. But those are the most like what's it called? That's how shilling should actually be. Like people should shill the stuff that they actually are excited about, that makes their life better, that they're like really bullish about, not about a company sliding in and giving them a check in the end of the month and they're like, you know, just shilling their product. In some cases, even a terrible product, like Ledger, no pun intended. How many people like still say store your Bitcoin on Ledger? It's the best thing. It's like every time I hear it. And some of the biggest shows in the space still do it. And
I have to break a lance for like the founder of Ledger, Nicolas Bacca. Like he's a great guy. Like he's no longer with the company.
He is. That's true.
Most of us who have been in the space at one point owned a Ledger. Like I've like had an HW1 back then too. Still, I think it is a very secure hardware, it's shitty software. Don't use their software. Like the hardware is secure.
Correct.
If you're on a ledger, like maybe consider upgrading to another one, but you're not in a rush, but don't use their software. And there's some great people working there. Like you may have met him, like an Italian fellow, Salvatoschi. Like he works at Ledger.
Yeah, in Prague, he did a fantastic on the Hack Day Dev.
Yeah,
he did a fantastic talk.
He's an awesome guy. He's Ledger's conscious. Like they keep him around as a true Bitcoin maxi. He was the one that implemented Miniscript for Ledger, and he's like a true Bitcoin OG. But I would not endorse Ledger hardware wallets.
But yeah, I was so. Yeah, I guess, I totally agree with you, Chris. We should see more of these open source projects coming up. And I'm excited that new people and younger people that are only, kind of stepping into space now are hungry to build on stuff, because there's so many things still yet to be built. People sometimes, especially, Bitcoin Twitter, they're like, focusing on price. Like, when are we going up? When are we going down? It's like, man, it doesn't matter. One Bitcoin is always going to be one Bitcoin. Focus on ideas and stuff, how we can improve. And
this is the Suitcoin summer. Like we're talking about
the Suitcoin summer, right?
Strive and Stripe and all those tokenized synthetic Bitcoin derivatives.
I'm sorry to tell you, but the strategy earnings call already happened. It's not happening now.
We're gonna pivot this Bitcoin podcast now to Suitcoin.
That's right. We went from hardcore self-custody, full FOSS project to let's get the yield in, boys.
Where does it come from?
Yeah, well, you're the yield, maybe. I don't know. I can't verify that, but hypothetically, your wallet is the yield. But no, jokes aside, if Bitcoin Twitter would focus more on development, this is what I love Nostr for. Like, people on Nostr are like, there's always something exciting and new discovered on Nostr, and that's, to me, what Twitter should be like. But then Twitter is just like, it's full of a lot of degen stuff going on. There's some sharp stuff, and especially the memes, which I'll get to later on with, because you're the meme lord of Bitcoin Twitter. But what's your take on that, Chris?
So yeah, I mean, it is X or Twitter sets the wrong incentives. Like, you are rewarded for clickbait, and there's a lot of very big accounts that are like just rechurning garbage and fake news
away
to get like a minuscule payout. Like, on Nostr, people don't have that. Like, there is actually like a good signal to noise ratio there. However, what I don't like about Nostr, it's not a circle jerk, but like, it's very difficult to reach new people that needs to hear about like the blessings of Satoshi. Like, everybody on Nostr is already a Bitcoiner. Like, I'm on Twitter shit posting to reach new people. But I agree. Like, the conversation right now is much about all these fiat games. I mean, of course, we've built a great thing, and like, who are we to expect that like states and the government and like companies don't also want a part of this? But there is a storm coming. There's a storm brewing. Like, Roman Storm. Like, he just now, the jury is in. They found him guilty of operating an illegal money transmitter, which is insane. Like, even if you never at no point had any custody of private keys, you can be considered a money transmitter, is the current ruling. That means, like, if I operate a Lightning node and I route your money, even though I can't touch it or move it, I might be considered a money transmitter. And like, these things, like, we need to build Bitcoin more censorship resistant, more private. Right now, like, we can still do this. Like, if we fail to do this, if we focus on like infighting, whether we run core or not, or all this other bullshit, like, we need to make sure like that this great project does not become like, I don't know, a shiny rock that like can't be moved anymore. So I agree. Like, on Twitter, there's a lot of bullshit happening. On Nostr, if you want to talk to developers, especially, like, you will find a much better discussion.
For sure, and I would definitely agree with you that the Nostr crowd is basically it's everybody's a Bitcoin maxi to a certain extent on Nostr. You don't have these new people to kind of share ideas with. It's more kind of like builders sharing ideas with each other and brainstorming, like a digital orange agora where the Bitcoiners exchange stuff. But we'll see how that progresses. Hopefully, I saw just Calais yesterday. He was tweeting that, encouraging people to come who are non-Bitcoiners to come and share their stuff and, insights and experiences to get Nostr more like de-Bitcoinized in a sense of discussions. Because if we want to bring on more people, it needs to be, catering to everyone, not just if you're fully on board with Bitcoin or not. But I guess it's in stages. We'll get there. But
and I think
going
Nostr,
back to
Nostr does not have to be entirely like a social media clone. Like there's other use cases for Nostr. Like, I mean, there is a CoinJoin implementation called Joinster. A friend of mine, a former Spectre dev, he's working on a Bitcoin wallet called Bitcoin Safe, which we use at the 21 Bitcoin Association, where you can send PSBTs and labels over Nostr from wallet to wallet, which is like amazing. Like you have you treat a Nostr identity as something single use that you can throw away. Like you can just over an encrypted DM send a PSBT without using DNS, without using like a regular internet IP, and it just works. And that is like, check it out, bitcoinsafe.org. Another shill. If you're like new to multisig, it's also a great wallet. It teaches you step by step on how to build a regular multisig, and works with all the.
I think I've seen them. It looks like very basic UI, right? With
so I say it's
this is a different project.
He and we are very big fans of another great open source project called Electrum, and this is I think a mix between Sparrow and Electrum. You have the visualization of Sparrow. You have the use cases of Electrum. It's built with BDK. It's based on Python, so you can run it on virtually everything. And it has that was a feature request that I have. The visualization of mempool space, like you see the different payment things. And if you're a Bitcoin artist, if you do some art, like sometimes I do laser engraving, you can export very easily a vector file of those transactions, which is amazing. So it's just another tool. Like check it out.
I love it. And the whole fact with I've been really keen on. I'm also not a programmer like you, but with so many like great things and so many things to be built and contributions that could be done, I'm actually currently on the verge of starting to learn how to code on Python and look at Git, submitting PRs and stuff, and trying to provide and learn along the way. And who knows, maybe through that some idea pops into my mind to spin off something or see wherever I can contribute. And so I'll definitely check out bitcoinsafe.org. And I love these features that you said, implementing something, for example, with mempool space, which arguably to me, there we are. The blocks are spinning in your background. I've got my pillow from Sazmining from BTC Prague, which,
you get one of those pillows?
I and the kids love a lot.
I wanted to buy one.
And implementing different things. Tell me.
I'm jealous of your pillow because I wanted to buy one. I was too late. I was I was in the mempool
and it's run out. Yeah. It's the most expensive one. It's the 4.2. Yeah, that's right. And it's 256 sats per VByte.
Wow.
Because I said, Simon, how much are you selling them for? He was like, well, they're 20,000 sats. And I was like, does it matter how expensive the block is? He's like, no. I was like, okay, then I'll get the best ROI. I'll give the 20,000 sats for the 256 sats per VByte pillow. And it's orange as well. And it's a 420. I was like, it's a no-brainer for that one.
I'm jealous.
No. So I guess where do we go from here? Wow, I had no idea this conversation is going to go like this. I feel like I finished a Plan B summer school session with Chris on telling me about multisig setups and open source projects. But I love it because like I live and breathe this stuff. And to me, this podcast is not just, storytelling, but it's also getting people to uncover new projects. And you didn't even just uncover it for other people, you uncovered it for the host as well. So I'm super thankful that you shared all of this stuff. And it's going to be a fun next few days exploring these things. Definitely starting from Liana. I want to take a deeper look into Spectre as well with Wallet. I missed their workshop on the Bitcoin BTC Prague Dev Day. I wanted to go, but things just overlapped and I didn't get to go, but I'll definitely look into that. And of course, the bitcoinsafe.org, another fantastic thing, which I think should be a fun thing. Any other open source freedom tech things that you are really bullish on and you're enjoying that you want to share? That come to mind?
It's a good question. So I was thinking, what have I not mentioned? Oh, I haven't mentioned what I spend 90% of my day on. Like, I'm currently building out, like, for quite some time. Like, the company was launched in 2021, a Bitcoin insurance company in Europe, which is like huge gap in coverage, but that is not open source. That is like a fiat thing. Like, we are insuring Bitcoin in self-custody. But open source projects that need to be.
Let's stick to BitSurance. Quick question. So I believe AnchorWatch, right, is what the US kind of alternative to BitInsurance. Can you walk me through a little bit? What's the difference between what you're building and what the guys are offering?
Okay, so like we fumbled the ball apparently because everybody knows AnchorWatch. They don't know us. We were first. We realized you can protect yourself, your coins, against cryptographic hacking really well with a hardware wallet. You can do all the precautions with a steel wallet to protect yourself against fire. But what is the scenario that somebody kicks your door in and $5 wrench attacks you? And I personally had like a very like nasty experience, and I was thinking like, in that scenario, even I would part with my Bitcoin if like there's a threat to my life or my family.
If there's a gun to your head or your children, there's no like, I'm dying on this hill. It's here's the seed word.
Like, even if you have like a plan, I'm an American, I have all the guns, like in that situation, like your brain might not work as quick as you think. And then I thought, like, how do you protect against that? And like, there are regular household insurances that cover gold. They cover like cash, fine art, everything of value in your place, but none cover immaterial goods like Bitcoin. And then like we went to the drawing board like for 2 years, looking for a first insurer to take on the crazy risk of Bitcoin. A lot of doors were slammed in our faces. Then we found one, and we like in 2023 we were the first worldwide to insure Bitcoin in self-custody on a hardware wallet. That was the Bitbox. We're trying to build this out now. Like, we're currently in Germany, Austria, and Switzerland next. And like moving all over, like we're trying to insure all of Europe. Our friendly competitors, like I'm good friends with Becca and Rob from AnchorWatch. They are currently only in the United States, and they also leverage Miniscript. Their insurance differs a little bit from ours. Like, we insure your hardware wallet, no questions asked. It can be a single-sig. We only insure very low limits, like currently up to 100,000 euros. This used to be 4 Bitcoin, now it's 1 Bitcoin. AnchorWatch, they start insuring from I think 250,000 up to $250 million. Like, they insure serious amounts of Bitcoin. And then, of course, they can't insure that on a single sig. They require a Miniscript wallet that they've written. Like Rob, the Galaxy Brain, has written a Trident Vault. That is a multisig Miniscript wallet. And they have, I mentioned earlier, you can have this time lock either in block height or in Unix time. They have a time lock for the duration of your insurance policy. And then they're always a co-signer on your wallet. But yeah, they're the first to insure these amounts of money, because people think, hey, I'm on an exchange, I'm with Binance, I'm with Bitfinex, with Kraken, with Coinbase, I'm insured. Take a guess of the, I think it's $140 billion worth of Bitcoin. What is the amount that is covered by insurance right now? Take a guess.
Per exchange or per customer? Like a few million, maybe?
So there are, I think, 3 omnibus insurance bills for like Coinbase and Kraken, and they only insure $750 million of like assets totaling well in the hundreds of billions.
140.
So like, it's grossly underinsured. And
so you're not insured.
You're not insured.
Because like, certainly even the guys up the food chain are going to get some of that peanuts back.
They are insured. Like, Coinbase is insured. You are not on that policy. With AnchorWatch, like, I'm like advertising now a competitor, but with AnchorWatch, you are on that policy. Like, if you're in America and you have serious amounts of Bitcoin and you want to have like this added security, or like you're a company and you're required to have insurance, and before you had to go and leave your coins at Kraken, now with AnchorWatch you can take it in your self-custody. You have Anchorwatch as a co-signer, but once that insurance policy runs out, like you still remain with your keys and they can never move your Bitcoin during that period. They can block you from transacting when they see that you're like under duress or whatever, but they will provide full insurance for, I think, between 0.55% to 2% a year, which is like a fair deal given like the enormity of this asset.
The risk reward, if something happens, like it's worth the price. It's not cheap, but it's worth the price of having the safety.
That is, again, like we all dream of this ANCAP society where like we have this libertarian utopia, and who is the heir to that? It will be insurance companies. Like you will have your fire insurance, you will pay the fire department yourself. And like Bitcoin needs insurance. Like for this industry, like it's still nascent after 16 years. We have a ton of capital. We like get a ton of regulation now, but you need a third pillar to grow this, and it will be insurance. I absolutely believe that.
And is it just the two of you? Is it just Bit Insurance and Anchorwatch? That's it? There's no one else at the moment
so
that's out there?
There are other insurers that focus on Ethereum and stuff like that. I don't have them on my radar. They've been brought to my radar.
Bitcoin only, it's just you two, right?
It's us two that insure Bitcoin and self-custody. There are my friends over at Avatars. They are focusing mainly on exchanges and Bitcoin miners. They insure Bitcoin mining rigs for like a disruption insurance if like a fire breaks out, etc. If you want to pay like your hoster. And then there is a new, very exciting venture. You should get him on for the podcast. It's Zach Townsend. He has an insurance company in Bermuda. Called Meanwhile, and they do whole life insurances in Bitcoin. So if you think about like life insurance, like that is an insurance that you do not take out for yourself. You take those out for your kids. And if you live in Argentina, you don't want to have a life insurance denominated in pesos because that will be worth shit.
That's true.
And in America and in Europe, we are not able right now to have a insurance that is paying out in Bitcoin because we can't hold Bitcoin as a collateral because that is still too volatile, too risky as an asset. Like they say so, and we can't have it on our balance. Like you can have like how do you call it, bonds and stuff like that, but like Bitcoin is still a no-go. But in Bermuda you can. And Meanwhile is the first company, to my knowledge, that has their entire financials denominated in Bitcoin. They just passed their audit. Everything is denominated in Bitcoin. They take in Bitcoin. They pay out in Bitcoin. I don't think they even have a fiat account. And it's a very serious, great
full
business.
Bitcoin standard.
Like they just raised $40 million with Folga Ventures. So from what I understand,
and they offer it worldwide, their service.
Come again?
Do they offer it to the whole world? Or it depends which region you live in?
So I'm not sure if it's the whole world. You have to check it out. Like again, I'm just a fan.
Okay.
so it works like this. You take out an insurance policy with them, and you pay, for instance, in 10 installments, 0.1 Bitcoin. So you paid in 1 Bitcoin, and if you kick the bucket, your heirs get 1.5 Bitcoin. So it's always a whole life insurance. And the reason why that might be interesting to you is because you leverage your Bitcoin. You of course have some counterparty risk because like that insurance company has to be around in that event. But they can also then help your heirs to recover. And the great thing is life insurances are a very well understood concept mathematically and from a perspective of loaning against it. If you're like in America, you can have a life insurance and loan against it and buy a house. You don't have to sell your Bitcoin. That is something that is possible now. Like people talk about, oh, soon you will be able to do that in America, etc. And like there are all these Lombard loans, but like with a life insurance, I think that is a very smart thing if you are looking to invest some of that money, but you don't want to sell your Bitcoin. And yeah, again, not affiliated, just a fan. But those are the insurance companies in this space. So Bitsurance, we try to cover Europe and we try to build everything out here. We have an American reinsurer. Like our reinsurer is Liberty Mutual. It's the 5th largest insurer in the world, and they are really like interested in Bitcoin now. Like we had a very good.
You've done a good job, Chris.
We had a very good timing. Let's say like this. Like when I talked to them initially, they were like not having it. But the chief underwriter there, like I onboarded him, and he has a hardware wallet, and he
And a Liana account.
He invested at the right time and has not had a 75% drawback or like a bear market. Like he's just like really bullish on Bitcoin now. And then like all these events.
He's still in the euphoria phase.
Like you have like the ETF, you have Donald Trump talking about Bitcoin, like everything came into place. Like this would have not been possible like 10 years ago.
For sure. For sure. For sure.
You know, one of the most common questions I get asked is why would someone want to mine Bitcoin instead of just buying it? And that's a fair question. But the truth is, mining offers a unique set of benefits that buying just can't match. For one, when you are mining Bitcoin, you're not relying on a third-party exchange to hold your coins. You're in control of your own Bitcoin, and you're not giving up your personal data to a centralized authority. Another benefit of mining is that it allows you to accumulate Bitcoin without having to pay a premium or deal with price volatility. When you buy Bitcoin, you're subject to whims of the market, and you may end up overpaying for your coins. But when you mine, you're getting your Bitcoin at a fixed cost, regardless of the market price. And in some cases, you're even getting Bitcoin at a 30 to 40% discount. And with Sazmining, you can rest assured that your Bitcoin is being mined in a responsible and sustainable way using renewable energy sources and state-of-the-art equipment. Now, I know you may be thinking, but isn't mining bad for the environment? And that's a fair concern. However, most modern mining operations, including Sazmining, are using renewable energy sources to power their rigs. And with the rise of more efficient mining hardware, the carbon footprint of mining is decreasing every year. In fact, Sazmining is committed to reducing their carbon footprint to almost zero, and they're always looking for new ways to improve their sustainability. I recently started mining Bitcoin with Sazmining, hence why I'm sharing these insights with you. So why choose Sazmining for your mining needs? Well, Sazmining offers a unique opportunity to stack wild sats, or in other words, accumulate Bitcoin without having to buy it. With their user-friendly platform, you can start mining with just a few clicks. Easily track your mining progress, adjust your settings, and withdraw your coins whenever you want. And with an expert team and state-of-the-art equipment, you can rest assured that your mining operation is running at maximum efficiency. Start mining wild sats today with Sazmining and get $50 off your rig by signing up with the link in the show notes. Don't miss out on this opportunity to take control of your Bitcoin and start building your wealth. Sign up with Sazmining now and start mining your way to financial freedom.
Wow, well, I guess you've chilled a lot of great projects here, all unaffiliated. Guys, no need to go to the show notes. There's going to be
you know,
in there.
This is my address. Like,
under the table.
Can I read my address?
But no, I really appreciate it, Chris. You know, like you've shared so many great, fantastic resources. I mean, wow, like on this short episode, we went from why you should self-custody Bitcoin, how do you DIY build your cold storage, how do you DIY your multisig inheritance plan wallet, how do you life insure and self-custody insure your Bitcoin. I mean, what else do you guys want? Like, if you want one like mega episode, I guess this is the one. I don't even know what else to bring up. As I said, I had a few points that I wanted to go deeper in your companies, but we went like full detour. But I loved it. I mean, the value that listeners get out of these episodes is the reason I'm doing it. So I guess where can we take it? I guess let's close it up with going to your side hustle of being a meme connoisseur, or not even a hustle. I would say your passion.
It is my ikigai.
Your ikigai, that's right. You were put on this earth to do those crispy memes. How important do you think is Bitcoin memeing in regards to getting people into the Bitcoin space, or you think it's more of Bitcoin memes is just kind of our own thing within the circle of Bitcoiners?
I think memes are like, we don't give enough credit to how powerful memes are. Like I make cringe memes, I make self-deprecating memes, I make memes that only amuse myself sometimes, but it's like a creative.
Well, I mentioned you're a connoisseur. You're not a strict meme category. You have them all.
I try to only make original memes. I don't repost other people's. Like I try to make original memes, and hit or miss. Like, I'm not claiming they're all great, but I'm a big fan of my own memes. But I think like memes, they travel really quickly, really far if they're well done. And there are so many viral memes that are like, I mean, Knut Svanholm came up with the infinity divided by 21 million. And that is just like such a powerful meme, and people understand it. And like, I mean, who coined the term meme? It was, I think, Richard Dawkins. Like, it's how it's like the virality of it, how it's spreading itself. And that is advertising that you cannot pay for in money. Like, if people voluntarily share it and incept like a thought into somebody's brain, and a good meme is, I believe, infotainment. Like, there is some information that people learn, and it's also like not just educational but also entertaining, then this will stick longer than like in your face, you have to do this, this, and this. Like, a meme is like, if it's,
that's true.
Like, yeah, if it's shared on a voluntary basis, it will travel around the earth really quickly. And yeah, I like grew up on Reddit, and I was forged there to make memes. And luckily, people liked them, and people at conferences approached me and said like, "Hey, it was a great meme," and this means more than you can imagine to me.
Of course,
and yeah.
Of course. No, I couldn't agree more. You know, with that saying, a picture has 1,000 words. I would even say a meme has like 10,000 words to it, because like different
legs.
people.
Like, it has not just the words, but it travels so fast.
That's true.
And
that's true.
They're like crazy things that happened just because of memes. Like,
tell us one anecdote, like one of your crazy stories that came out of because I'm sure you have a lot of them, but one that just comes to mind that you want to share.
I mean,
because we can't share them all. We would go into a 10-hour episode.
It's 10-hour episode. Like, I mean, there are some memes where like the people in this Bitcoin space, I'm not gonna drop names, but like people that I really, really respect, like people that have been around since like very, very early on. They came to me, they slid into my DMs, and they say, "Hey, that's great. Want to come to my conference? Here's a ticket." And I was like, "Wow!" Like, just because of like something that I did on CapCut in 10 minutes. The last thing that was surreal was when I was shitposting on Twitter, as I've always been, and mentioned to a post that said, "Hey, why hasn't Elon Musk mentioned Bitcoin in the last 4 years?" And I just said like, maybe he's quietly stacking, and I didn't think much of it. And then the dopamine junkie that I am, I just checked like, who liked this tweet, and I like went through this thing, and then I saw that the actual real richest man on earth, Elon Musk, liked that tweet, implying that he agrees with my statement that Elon Musk is quietly buying Bitcoin. And I just thought like, I mean, likes are private, and it's a breach of privacy if I share this, but like, what the hell? Took a screenshot, shared it. And at that time, like, it was like a high summer. I was working in the garage. I was not thinking about like, this will be my biggest whatever tweet. But like, I was working there, and suddenly like my phone rings. And like, by the time like people on the internet shared it, and they were like, it's like at least a dozen articles in like in the media, like TradingView and Binance, about this tweet that I sent and that I shared, and that Elon Musk liked it. And there was a reporter that found a old landline that was associated with me that like reconnects to my cell phone, and called me up and like wanted to have like the in about like, is it actually true? I was like, this world is not real. Like, I shared a tweet, and suddenly like Bloomberg is writing about it, and you could see the Bitcoin price did like a small uptick, and like the egomaniac that I am, I'm thinking like, I caused this, like I caused the price to pump by like one tweet.
That's insane. Wow. Talk about a anecdote. I wasn't expecting it to go that parabolic that fast. Like, that escalated quickly from a single tweet to reposting it, to going to, as you said, CNBC and reporters, right, like calling. Man, wow. I guess the takeaway from that one is, guys, whoever is listening, like, you never know what's around the corner. Just like take action, have zero expectation. And you never know. Sometimes things may just take off. I think most people have way too much expectation, and then they put something out into the world, and it just doesn't take on. And they're like, "Oh, like this is not going to work. I give up." They don't even try to pivot or redo it, or maybe timing.
Yeah.
like as you said, like timing is also a huge thing. I'm a proponent of the golden trilogy is the right place at the right time with the right people. It doesn't matter how much money you have or how much influence you have. If it's not the right time at the right place with the right people, it's not going to happen. But, you know, sometimes when the stars align, as it did in your case, things can go like parabolic super fast.
Yeah, and like there's this saying, I'm not sure if I get it right, but luck is when preparation meets opportunity. Like if you just churn out enough and the quality will increase because you have more practice, sooner or later you will have a hit. Like even if you have the best meme and you post it at the wrong time, or the algorithm is like, you know, punishing you, like it might not work, but maybe change something, repost it, whatever, try again, and like nobody that is disciplined and like working on it, and it doesn't have to be memes. Like this is a general advice. Don't go into meming. It's not a very strong paying business. I'm lucky in that, like, I mean, I don't pay for Seedor advertising. I just make memes and people share it, and this was enough to grow a brand that like
No, for sure. And based on those what you just said, there's also like not a quote, but Michael Jordan once, I used to be a big fan because I was growing up. I used to play basketball a lot, and I was a huge fanatic of Michael Jordan. And he once, I read, he said he became the greatest player of all time, not by winning every single time, but by losing 1,000, 10,000 times, whatever that number was, learning his lessons and improving. So through losing so many times, he became the greatest. And that always resonated with me whenever, you know, you try something and it's not working. It's like, just keep on learning. Because I don't have this analogy in my head, you win or you lose. You either win or you learn. There is no losing, because if something doesn't go right, just learn your lesson. But most people don't learn the lesson. They're like, it didn't work out. Screw this. Like, I'm going to go look at something else. And then you're like, what the hell? You spend so much time, energy, and most probably fiat money to do this thing, and it didn't work out, and you just give up. Like, no, man, learn your lesson and pivot a little bit, tweak something up, and the next time it may take off. So yeah, I guess that's a little life tip right there from Chris and Gigi. Chris, anything else you want to bring up? Anything else that's on mind or you wanted to share?
So this is the thing that I'm associated with. I'm going to shill it. Maybe there are some German listeners or international people that want to go to Bavaria.
A pretty extensive German demographic that listens in. So maybe those will be interested.
So yeah, I help organize the Bitcoin Forum Bavaria. It's going to be on the 9th till the 11th of October this year. It's going to be the biggest German Bitcoin conference. We have booked out an ice hockey stadium. We have great speakers. Wow. 3 days of Bitcoin education. There are free tickets. You can go to the exhibition area, and there are, of course, paid tickets, paid tiers, even VIP tickets if you want to go like to the stages, etc. But there will be workshops. There will be art. There will be discussions about mining. There will be discussions about everything Bitcoin. And the funny thing is, this is entirely organized. Like people that see this flyer in Germany will think, hey, hang on, I know these colors. So this is the Volksbank. In Germany, we have two big banks. Together, they have 55 million customers, and you're either with a Sparkasse or you're with a Volksbank. And this is like the biggest mutual credit fund. And it's a local bank that organizes this, like a TradFi bank. And this is the third time running.
That's a first. That's a first.
It's not a first. It's the third time running. Like initially, like the first Bitcoin forum they had was like 300 people, and now the second time we had 1,500 people there, and this time we're targeting well over 3,500 people. It just grows and grows and grows, and it's one of those like small. They're not small. They have 65,000 customers. This bank alone, and like it's a big traditional bank. But they learned early on, like 3 years ago, there's a difference between crypto and Bitcoin, and we do Bitcoin only. Like, and that is amazing. Like, they are amazing to work with. They understood people are interested in this, and they offered informational talks about Bitcoin way before anybody else did it. And they only did Bitcoin. They showed people Trezor and Bitbox and Seedor and like how to properly self-custody it. And they said, okay, people are interested in it, and if we don't do it, they will go elsewhere and they get rugged by like people shilling them Ethereum. So we need to do it.
Yeah.
And they did it, and now they are like a pillar in the German Bitcoin community, and they host this great event. They are associated, like they invested early on a Bitcoin broker called 21 Bitcoin in Austria. They are fully
I heard of them.
orange pilled. And the great thing is the guy that originally was the in for this thing in Bitcoin, he became the CEO of the bank like beginning of this year. Like
wow.
We have
so talk about it's on the perfect route.
Yeah, I mean he has a node running in there like
in his office.
In the office, like when you go into the bank, the first thing that you see, there's like a node and there's mempool space running. And you have to think like this is not like some fintech bank. Like this is like an OG traditional bank.
Traditional. Wow. Well, if any bankers are listening to this episode, which most probably they aren't, but if you are, please learn your lesson from other people that have front run you. But this is incredible, you know, like, and just to add my thing, you know, I love seeing more of these smaller like summit forums being built out, like the general, to get the people to answer any questions, because I have a feeling, I don't want to name names, but some of the biggest Bitcoin conferences have really become sellouts, and they're just like, they're selling you maybe not full shit coins, but like there's just so much noise, and it's a clown show, and I personally have no interest to go into them. If you want to go, feel free. It's a free world. I'm not going to tell you where to go or not, but personally, I don't want to go to them. There's like a small exception of a few conferences that I would go to. But actually, I'm really bullish on more people and grassroots people working with local either authorities, institutions, to try and bring in the people that we need to bring in and show them what Bitcoin truly is, this freedom money, then how fantastic this whatever JPEG is looking on my flashy screen. But yeah, anything else, Chris? Any other last shills, or I think that's...
No, I mean, I don't know.
That was
Follow
the
me
final
on Twitter
shill.
if you are into cringe memes. If you have...
No. So before the shill, I was going to say, yeah, where do we send the listeners? Because we talked about a lot of different... We went to Seedor, we went to BitSurance, we went to Bitwall. Where's the best place to send listeners?
Yeah, I mean, just, I don't know, Twitter, you can link the websites. Any email that you send to our domains, Chris at... I personally read and respond to all of them. My family is sick and tired of listening to me talk about Bitcoin. I'm very happy if people engage in a conversation with me about Bitcoin. Nice. I mean, if you want a 30-minute call about Liana, go to satskeeper.com. That's free. I do this in my free time. You can just hop on. I will talk to you about it. And then, you can do it yourself.
Amazing. Well, we'll have that link in the show notes for people to take a quick action and book that in. I'm sure, as you said, Chris will be happy to speak to you and see how he can help you. But yeah, I want to thank you once again, Chris. Thank you for taking the time on. Thank you for doing everything you're doing in this space. As you said, you're not a programmer, but like, I mean, the stuff that you brought in is truly God's work, and I wish you all the best of success with all the projects that you're currently doing, and I'm sure there's a lot more interesting things coming along. And actually, I remembered now, you took me on a full tangent talking about open source things. One thing I wanted to bring up, and I need to ask you this before we wrap it up. This is an unorthodox episode, because I'll be already saying goodbye, adios, see you next week. But I want to ask you one thing. Did you ever think in your wildest dreams when you started off Seedor that one day the CEO of Robinhood is going to have a James Bond themed announcement of tokenizing shares and presenting the Seedor as the way to back up the seeds?
No way.
How was that to you?
No way. So I didn't meet him personally, but I met an employee of his in Las Vegas, and I talked to her about my stuff, and I like shill what I have going on. And the next day, she came to our booth there, and she bought a Seedor kit, and I didn't think anything. I thought it's like for her. And then like a couple days, weeks later, I see this, like you said, like this James Bond opening where Vlad Tenev, like the CEO of Robinhood, known from the GameStop saga, like is driving in an old timer and has this mysterious briefcase. And like in a grand show, like he opens it in this Italian villa in front of hundreds of people and says like, on here, I have the private keys to what stock opening for OpenAI and SpaceX. And like, hang on, that is my the thing that I built. And he showed it to
How
like,
surreal was that? How surreal
it's very
was that?
surreal. Like I knew by that time, like, I mean, we have shipped all over the world, like to Japan, to Malaysia, to like a lot of countries in South America, in Africa. Like we ship worldwide, which I think is such an honor because again, I have a steel wallet of many. I compete with a hardware store, but people take a liking to the product that I've designed. And that is so humbling that people really like. That is probably the thing that I will be remembered by in the future. Like I had a previous career as a mechanical engineer, and I was quite successful, I thought. But nowadays, like this small steel tube will be my legacy. I'm pretty sure of that. Like that is the thing that.
So it's going to be a statue of you in like 100 years, you holding up this tube.
Don't build statues to me, like. But just thinking how many of these capsules that I have like sent out into the world in the last years, like, I mean, how many billions of like private key, like dollar denominated Bitcoin are stored on there. Like that is just like unfathomable. Like if I think about it, like I set something into motion and I promoted it with memes and people like it, and now there is a guy having SpaceX and OpenAI private keys on there and reading them out live during a video broadcast, which you should not do. Like keep your private keys private. But yeah.
Incredible. Well, I'm glad we slid that in because that was one of the things. I had a few things I wanted to run over you, but as I said, we went full force, full shill the devs, shill the great projects, which
in a couple of weeks. I always think
no, for sure we're gonna have to have another one because there's a lot of stuff still coming.
Right now, I always say like so many things fall into place right now, and there's been so many like successes in sequence that like there is an inevitable crash out for Chris. Like this can't be like my star can't keep rising. Like so there will be like a crash out coming. Like not gonna
well we'll see.
Wish it, but
we'll see. Well, we need to zoom out. There might be a crash out coming on a 1 minute candle, but if we go on to a monthly candle on Chris's life chart, I think it's only going one way.
Yes. And if not, then can I come back for my apology tour onto your podcast?
For sure, you're always welcome. If it's the good days or the bad days, we don't discriminate. But yeah, once again, thank you so much. Thank you for everyone tuning in. I really hope you got some great value. This was a really educational episode. Please, if you got value out of this, share it with family and friends, people that really need to self-custody their Bitcoin. If you need help, as Chris said, he would be happy. Reach out to him. The links will be in the show notes. Check out all the fantastic projects we discussed. I'll probably plug them all in. I'll carry on the shill in the show notes so you can go individually check them out. But yeah, thank you for your time. Stay sovereign, stay curious, stay unruggable, and we'll see you on the next one.
Thank you, GG.
Adios.
Everybody that listened, thank you for staying awake.